Hey, what's up, everyone? I just got off the line with American pop rock artist and NBC The Voice Season 23 contestant Mary Kate Connor. This news episode, Mary Kate talks about her hometown of Ashburn, Virginia, experience with Broadway musicals, The Voice experience, working with Coach Blake Shelton, dealing with intimidation, whether or not she feels a great responsibility to make it in the music industry, what she looks for in collaborations, dream duets, her happy place, and more. Now, with that being said, here's my conversation with Mary Kate. Mary Kate, hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me. I mean, it's obviously been I feel like a whirlwind experience for you,
Mm,
just being on The Voice and picking Coach Blake Shelton as your coach and your team.
absolutely.
Talk to me about obviously I want to start from your hometown, Ashburn, Virginia. Is it a small town, would you say?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. So I would say it's not. Ashburn is a part of Loudoun County, which is a part of the DC metro region. So I live right outside of Washington, DC, and my county is pretty big. Ashburn is just one small part of it. We have like 20 different high schools, and it's pretty big. The population is pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely. And you seem to have had or connect with music very early on. You know, I remember just reading your bio. Um, your parents just couldn't really get you off of music. If there wasn't anything to make you fall asleep, you had to play hymns, and it was basically everything and anything music connected in your life. Why is that?
I just think, I truly believe that God, gifted me with this passion of music, and I've had that from a young age. I think it was definitely something that I was born with, and something that's been very precious to me, the fact that I've been given this gift. So, just from a young age, I think that music has helped me connect spiritually and connect with other people. So yeah, I literally I could not go to sleep, or I could not go in the car without my parents playing some sort of hymns. I would just sob. So I think that just proves that it's definitely something that is just very, very, I connect with it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And was there any like musical examples that you kind of idolize now and before as well when you're very young that you kind of looked up to?
Yeah, so I was born in Virginia, but I also lived in Nashville and Mississippi. So growing up, a lot of my influences um were like Christian rock bands like Third Day. I loved Need to Breathe was one of them that I love so much. I love the Civil Wars, they're a Nashville group. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you've had I guess Broadway type experiences early on as well through high school, obviously doing a high school production of Les Mis. Um, would you say that now, I mean, now that you're getting into The Voice and auditioning for these types of competitions, you're now clearly being aware of what you want to do in music and now focusing on being a singer-songwriter.
Absolutely.
But is there any intimidation a part of now jumping into this type of career,
Yeah.
rather than coming off the Broadway stage?
Absolutely. Growing up, I truly thought I was going to college for musical theater. My dream was to be on Broadway, and that was something that I could see myself doing because of how much I loved acting. But as I grew up, I just realized that musical theater might not be my main passion. Kind of starting last year and the year before that, I just started realizing how much I loved the folk, country sound, Americana sound. And I had never really written my own music before. And there was one day where I finally sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to write a song. And so I did. And that was an incredible experience for me because, getting to write my own music and being able to express myself in that way and that singer songwriter style was really just what brought my passion for music to life. And was definitely the determining factor into me moving away from Broadway and kind of going more towards the singer-songwriter route.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are you like what songs are you writing? What kind of songs are you sort of like penning, I guess, in your diaries or your journals? What is the type of songs you're writing?
So a big one of my influences is Phoebe Bridgers. I really love, writing lyrics that really mean something and tell a story. So I think that a lot of the music that I write, I would just describe as pretty and floaty and cool lyrics. I always like try to write something that reflects on events that happen in my own life. And something that like songs that are just really real. And I haven't started producing any of my music yet. I just have them done on paper. But hopefully when I start producing, I love that like, kind of contemporary sound singer songwriter with cool instrumentals and a cool guitar part, stuff like that. I'm not only am I just like super interested in lyrics, but I'm definitely consider myself a musician first, rather than a lyricist. So I definitely want my music to speak to people in just the way that it sounds and the lyrics.
Absolutely. And I mean, in high school productions, obviously you were a part of as I mentioned in the beginning, Les Mis, and then you did Little Mermaid. You played the role of Ariel. You've gotten to play as well when you did Les Mis. You went on the Kennedy Center stage. What was that opportunity like for you?
Yeah. Excuse me. I was a little, I think I was 8 at the time and got invited. The reason why I went to the Kennedy Center is because in my area we have this thing called Cappies, and it's basically like an award show but for high schoolers. And our production of Les Mis was nominated for Best Musical, so we got to go with like 3,000 other high schoolers and their families and perform at the Kennedy Center. And it was crazy for me because I'm this little 8-year-old girl who gets to be with all the big kids, who are amazing. And, my role was literally so small because the song that we had to sing, I wasn't even in. And they just decided to throw me on stage with a broom and told me to sweep. So, for me, that was an insane experience just being able to be on the Kennedy Center stage, no matter how big or small the part was. It was just a really, really cool thing. And I think that that was the thing that inspired me to want to perform on whatever stage it was. I wanted to be on Broadway, but obviously I think that that jump started just me as a performer in general. And I think that's something I really cherished is my ability to perform and to connect with a character, no matter if I'm singing a musical theater song or a contemporary song. So yeah.
Yeah, certainly. And I was about to ask you if that was kind of those experiences of yours sort of helped, I guess, create the stepping stone for you to now jump into the music career that you're having now. How much of those kinds of opportunities early on helped, I guess, mold you into wanting to do a career like this?
Yeah, I think that it definitely shaped my confidence. I was fortunate enough to play a couple lead roles in my career in musical theater. And I think that being able to play those lead roles and being in the spotlight on the stage is really what helped me build my confidence. And not only that, I think that no matter what type of music you're singing, one of the most important things is the ability to connect with your audience. And I think that musical theater definitely helped with that, helped me with my stage presence. It helped me be able to create a character out of whatever I'm singing or whatever I'm performing, and be able to, show that to my audience. And instead of just singing a song on stage, they can really feel the lyrics and feel the message that I'm trying to portray. So yeah.
Right, right. And obviously now we have to talk about The Voice because you have now auditioned, but what people don't know is that you kind of auditioned for The Voice in season 19 of 2020, but then you came down with a sickness. And you obviously clearly said it was a hard time for you to because you obviously wanted to hone on your skills on and then get back to auditioning again, but becoming much better and learning more
Mhm.
with your experiences, and then coming back to do it. What was that like?
Yeah, so obviously when I went out for season 19, I was only 15. I was very, very underbaked, is what some people like to say. I was very green. I didn't really know what I was doing. The song that I was singing, I didn't even really, love. And I really didn't know what I was doing. So although me getting COVID was super, super hard, it was awful. Going through that was terrible. It was honestly a blessing in disguise because I know now that I really wasn't ready to, do this process. And so instead of, coming home from LA and being like, you know what, this means that I'm quitting music. I never want to do anything again. I decided that I was gonna not have that mindset. I learned how to play guitar. I really started running hard with singer songwriting. I had a couple vocal lessons. I really just wanted to hone my craft as best as I could. Those were the years that I decided to transfer to performing arts high school. So even though that was really hard, I have learned so much in these past couple of years since then. And I genuinely think that it was for the best. And now I'm able to do this process with a bunch of new tools that I didn't have when I was out there in season 19.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us about your song choice for your blind audition. Why choose Stars by Grace Potter and the Nocturnals?
Yeah. So I first heard that song on The Voice actually, and when I was younger, and I loved it so much. I used to sing it all the time. I was a huge Grace Potter fan. But I think for me, I there's a story that goes along with my song choice. Basically, I served at a summer camp this past summer, um, and it's a Christian outreach camp, and I got to serve with a month for a month along some of my best friends, and there was a one of the nights we were standing on top of this huge hill. This is in North Carolina, so it's beautiful. It's just in the mountains, and we were standing on top of this hill, and there was a night where we were singing this worship song called Good Good Father to all of camp, and it was this beautiful moment. And I remember standing there like arms together with my other friends on work crew and singing the song, and the stars were just beautiful. And I just remember crying and it being this beautiful moment. And then obviously, like when we had to leave work crew, a bunch of the people that I was serving with live all across the country, so I couldn't see them any longer. And so now every time I look at the stars, it's a reminder of all of those friends who live all across the country who I don't get to see. And one of the lyrics in the song is, "Stars, they make me wonder where you are." And so I just really connected to that and those beautiful memories that I have with those people and serving for Jesus. And that just really helped me connect and tell a story with the song.
Absolutely. And when I was watching your audition, I couldn't help but kind of go back to American Idol, and there was this
Mm.
one singer who really caught my eye, and it was Lacey K. Booth. And I
Yeah.
said, and I said, Mary Kate sounds like a younger Lacey K. Booth, and I
Oh my
was like,
God. Thank
you
you.
know, it's just one of those things where an artist, I guess, comes along as I remember Lionel Richie saying this, there's just a point where an artist comes along and sort of captures what exactly the competition is about. Finding artists that know how to perform a song and know their song choices abilities.
Yeah.
How much of that goes into whatever you sing now on The Voice?
Can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, so I guess for song choices wise, how much now of that sort of element helps you choose the best song that you perform on The Voice moving forward?
Yeah. So I just think again, like the most important thing for me is being able to connect with the song. I think that if you just go out and sing a song that sounds pretty or your voice just sounds pretty, but you don't really know what it's about or, you know, all of that stuff, I just don't think that you'll be successful. And so I've been very meticulous with choosing songs, not only just for the voice, but in my life in general and performances and stuff like that, and making sure that not only does it fit, my vocal range and make sure that it's pretty, but I need it to be something that I can emotionally connect with and something that the audience will feel something when I sing it.
Absolutely. And obviously you were very clear as well about the voice being a nerve-wracking experience for you. But how do you deal with that nervous feelings or the nervous sensation that you get? How do you handle that?
Yeah. So I have diagnosed anxiety, so that's been something that I've always struggled with growing up. But I think that the voice was just a whole nother, ball field. Like it was definitely the most nerve wracking thing I've ever experienced. And for me, it's just a lot of prayer, a lot of relying on my friends and my family for support because, without them, it would have made the anxiety much worse. And obviously, I had my parents there, and they were just a rock for me. And being able to handle that pressure and that nervous excitement and energy. And then, breathing is a big thing for me before I went out on stage. And even while I was on stage, making sure I focused on my breaths and not letting, the competition get to me, and just like sitting in prayer during my performance, and just like asking God to just help me through it and be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that like I guess you're getting older now, um, do you feel there's more of a responsibility now to make it in the music business or music industry?
I think so. It's obviously this industry is a really hard industry, right? There's not a lot of people who do end up making it super, super big. I think for me, my goal is not to be the most famous singer. My goal is not to, make it super big in Nashville and everyone knows my name. That is not my goal at all. I think that even just the audience that I have now, I mean, I've already gained thankfully a lot of followers and stuff like that. And um I think just having a small community that I'm reaching is more important to me than being this big name in the industry. Just because, when I have a more intimate community that I'm reaching and connecting with, it just makes it. I'm somebody who totally likes to interact with people who like my music and feel inspired by my music. And so I think that while it would be awesome to have a big name in this industry, it's not something that I am really looking for, really wanting. I just want to make a difference. I want to connect with people no matter how big or how small that audience is.
So is there a plan B if a music career doesn't work out for you? What is the plan?
Yeah. So I'm going to college for music industry, and that basically means that I get to learn the ins and outs of the music industry along with being a music producer. So I'll learn how to mix music, songwrite. I'll get to learn the legal and the business side of the industry. So that's always an option for me. And then I also just love ministry. I love working with people, especially people with special needs. So a big dream of mine is to be a music therapist. I'm double majoring in psychology in college as well. So that would just be awesome being able to use that to do something in ministry or help those with special needs connect better with music would be something that would be awesome for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that you're on Team Blake, how helpful has he been in helping you grow sort of your artistry?
Yeah. Blake is awesome. Like it was funny because when I first did my audition, I was terrified of him. Like he's this big dude who is super awesome, a huge name in the industry, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Blake Shelton." And then when I got the opportunity to actually work with him, he became less of like this huge celebrity and more like this awesome person. And my nickname for him was Uncle Blake, and we really just were able to connect on a personal level. And I stopped being super intimidated by him. He was honestly just a friend, and he really knows what he's talking about, especially when it comes to my genre, which is more that Americana style. I mean, he has roots in the country music, obviously, and in Nashville. And something that he has said he wants from me is to, get me connected in the Nashville scene, especially since he has all of like his venues and stuff. And so not only has he helped me grow as a musician and every all the tips that he's given me, but in this industry and as a person, like he's also helped me grow and given me awesome opportunities. So
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually going to ask you if you thought Blake was Uncle Blake to you.
oh,
Um, I mean, he just seems like a lovable person. I mean, I guess Blake is Blake. He's not really, I guess like an intimidator. I look at him like he's just a really great artist. He knows what he wants in an artist, and he knows how to pick the right songs and find the right fit. And so now when you come off the voice stage and you sort of come off the voice experience, um, eventually that's going to happen. But when you do come off that stage, when you're now starting to work with other people and create music, what do you look for in a creative partnership?
um, I I definitely look for somebody who is looking to uplift the other person in the partnership. I am not a huge fan. I mean, I'm on a reality competition show, but I hate competition. I love just collaborating and being a team. And so I think that I want to work with people who have the same values that I do, who obviously want to just make an emotional connection and who will uplift me as I try to uplift them, and to not just make it like sort of this competition of who can be the best or who can sound the best on a record or who can sell the most records. I think that it's more just being excited for the other person and lifting them up in this process, because obviously this is a scary industry and things often don't go your way and you get a lot of no's and you might not get the followers, you might not get the likes, you might not get the amount of sales that you want, but you need to collaborate with people who are going to just stay in your corner instead of being your competition.
Absolutely. And um, I mean, now that I mean, the voice experience has been great for you so far. And as young of an age that you are at right now, I mean, how much are you learning every
Yeah,
day? How much of that?
I mean, I have learned more than I ever have in my life. I mean, not only just the musical side, I worked with some incredible people besides Blake too, like our vocal coach and our band director and all of the producers who helped me hone my craft. But I also just learned a lot about myself and the kind of person I am when it comes to work, because obviously it's a lot of hard work. And I tend to, when I get anxious or I'm under stressful situations, shut down and I want to take a nap. Like I don't run at things head on. And so this process has definitely taught me that, that's not always going to be the most efficient way to get things done. And it's helped me become a harder worker. And then again, it's like you're on a competition show with other people and you want to be friends with them, but you also have to recognize that, you are competing with them, which has never been something that I really cared about. This whole process, I made so many friends. I made a whole other family. We truly were a family. And so I just learned how to collaborate with people and connect with people and be friends with people that I was also competing against, and being okay with, other people's success over mine has been something that I've really learned and loved with this whole process, being able to learn that.
Absolutely. And you've gotten rave reviews from all of the coaches, from Chance the Rapper to Kelly Clarkson to Niall Horan. I mean, Blake said, Mary Kate's probably not completely aware of what she's even capable of. She has a cool Appalachian sound, and I love that. I think America is gonna love it. When you hear sort of compliments from all these coaches, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it was just a surreal moment being up there and listening to these celebrity coaches talk about me in that way. You know, those people have so much experience in this industry. And obviously, Blake has been on this show for 23 seasons. Kelly has been on it for forever. Niall came from a competition show, and Chance is a self-made artist, which is awesome. And so they've all had these experiences and worked with all sorts of different people and heard all sorts of different talent, and the fact that they were giving me those compliments was an incredible feeling, and one that definitely boosted my confidence. It helped me with my anxiety. It made me feel worthy of doing this and being in this industry. It gave me affirmation that, I was made to do this, and I was made to sing, and it is my passion and my talents. So it was so awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And who's on your bucket list for dream collaborations?
Oh man. Well, Niall and Blake and Kelly. They're all incredible. So that would be my dream. I think my biggest dream would be Phoebe Bridgers. Oh my gosh. If I got the opportunity to even just sit down and write with her, it would be a dream come true. Like I would never complain about a single thing in my life again, because I'm just obsessed with her and her writing style and the way that she connects with an audience. And I also just love her music in general. Her production on her music is insane. So yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to tag Phoebe Bridgers in this interview.
Absolutely.
Hopefully she hears this. Um, and so as we're gonna wrap up soon here, I want to ask you about I've asked this to every single person that's come on this podcast, and this question has challenged them to where they had trouble answering this question, but were open to answering the question. So I'm going to ask you it because I felt this could be really good. If there was anybody that you would play a song with, if there's anybody in heaven already that you would want to play a song with, who would it be, and what song would you play?
Oh my gosh. This is a really hard question. Oh man. I have no idea. I have no clue. I mean, I have a hard time keeping track of who's in heaven and who is not in heaven. But honestly, there's so many people that have passed on who have made such great impacts. Like there's so many people honestly who have done hymns. I don't know like what their names are specifically, but I'm just a sucker for hymns. Like I am obsessed with hymns and will sing them any day. So I would love to write a hymn with somebody who wrote hymns hundreds of years ago, and those contemporary Christian styles of music. I don't really know who exactly it would be, but that would be such a cool thing.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much things that I could have asked you, but obviously there's a time limit for these. But I mean, if there was any question I would ask you, it'd probably be what would you say is your happy place?
Yeah. Um, I love the mountains. The mountains is like my favorite thing ever. I'm totally like I want to go on a lake in the mountains, and I want to jet ski and go on the boats and paddleboard, and I just love anything outdoors. So, there's a lot of hiking trails near me, and I just absolutely love them. And then, there's camps, young life camps or church camps. I love I just being in nature is just something that I cherish because it brings me closer to God, and just gives me a place of peace and being able to relax and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And my final question, because I feel this is important. It's Blake's final season as a voice coach. And obviously everyone is sort of paying tributes to his legacy on The Voice. If there was any message that you would give Blake now that it's his final season of The Voice, what would you say?
Honestly, just thank you, because he has paved this path for me. If it wasn't for him and his work on the show, I probably wouldn't have this experience to be on the show. He really truly has just created the show and brought it to such an incredible place. And without him, I might not have had the opportunities that I have had. So really, it's just thank you, and everything that he's done for me in the short time that we've known each other has just been incredible, and I've learned so much from him.
And while obviously Blake has done so much for so many people, and obviously we owe him a debt of gratitude of what he's done in his career, and for other artists who are up and coming as well. Well, it's the end of our time together. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I had such
Thank
a
you.
blast.
This was
Uh,
so fun.
I mean, do you ever do you just love doing podcasts like in
This
general?
is so fun. I've never really done them. I've done a couple interviews since I've been on the show, but this is my first podcast, and it was really fun.
Yeah, thank you for chatting with me. I mean, it's been a blast, and um, I mean, there's so much things that we could talk about, but I mean, I wish you all the best in this competition and your music moving forward. I mean, there's so much. But what type of podcasts do you listen to typically?
I have a couple that I love. I have a few religious podcasts. Me and my mom got super into Serial, the like murder crime podcast, and every time we would go
Oh,
on road trip
interesting.
to that one, which is so weird because
Yes, I
I love
remember I remember hearing I was listening to some of them. I think it was in high school.
uh-huh.
I think it was the uh Adnan Saeed case. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, but we haven't listened to that in a while. But thank you so much again for chatting with me. I had
Thank
such a
you.
great time.
Thank you for having me.
Well, to the listeners who made it this far into the episode, thanks so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with American pop rock artist and NBC The Voice Season 23 contestant Mary Kate Connor. You can connect with Mary Kate on her Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on TikTok. To help support my show, please feel free to share with family, friends, or on social media. You can also find me on all social media platforms. You can listen or stream my show on all podcast streaming platforms as well. I've been your host, Jigme Kelsang. Thanks for tuning into the show. Thank you.